3D circumstances are never going to tell you the truth. No matter how many times, like even right now, as like a hot lady just passed by me and just could not stop fucking looking at me, like, you know, self-concept is just booming, right? Every single day I tell myself that I'm the most important person in this universe. Matter of fact, I don't even say person, I say entity, right? I say that nobody can even breathe, think, or sleep, or eat apart from my permission. I'm not saying those things because I want to be narcissistic. I'm saying that because every single time that I do that, I get women like that looking at me, right? I get people who maybe are cold with me in my 3D reality, all of a sudden have a 360 in demeanor towards me. Because even before you guys got into the manifestation sphere, ladies and gentlemen, you all know that if you're having a good day, if you're feeling motivated, if you're feeling confident, you're going to notice that people are going to be like, oh, they're going to gravitate more towards you. They're going to be more willing to talk to you. Oh, how are you doing? Right? But if you're in a crappy mood and you're just looking like Eeyore from Winnie the freaking Pooh, okay, you are going to see other people be like, yeah, I'll pass. They're not going to want to be around you, whether that's friends, family, or love interests, even money. I'm telling you, like me with my business, every business owner goes through this. There are days where I'm like, okay, well, the numbers are not where I want them to be. But then I can just take maybe a few days to just focus on like a UFC fight that's coming up, right? And I'm more hyped about that than checking my statistics. And then it's like right when Bruce Buffer is just about to announce the fight, I get a notification that I got a deposit, right? Or I got more clients, you know, or more subscribers. It's like, that's the way it is, guys. And why? Why did that happen in that specific scenario? Because there was detachment there. And, you know, I was focusing a lot on 3D circumstances, and I've been focusing on that a lot because this is the number one thing that pops up in the manifestation community and with a lot of my clients. They will do an affirmation, they will be doing the techniques and say, yeah, Neo, I got it. Like, I'm in my end, we're married. But then they're checking the social media for every little tiny detail of, okay, well, maybe this means that her and the third party are going to break up. Or, ooh, maybe this means that he's single and he's really just hanging out with his cousin. Guys, you don't realize that when you do stuff like that, you check their social media, and instead of fucking focusing on yourself, you are trying to find every little evidence like a CIA agent to make you put a smile on your face. But if you see one little tiny thing on Facebook or one tiny little thing on Instagram, then, oh shit, this is going to determine if I'm going to be able to be in a good mood today. First of all, there's so many reasons why that's wrong, even on a non-law of assumption level. But if we're talking about manifesting something that is not there in front of you in the 3D, guys, do you really think that the Father is going to look at you checking your Instagram like a bad little servant who doesn't have any faith in his Lord, right? I mean, what do the scriptures say? You know, you of little faith. You know, look at how Jesus would look at his disciples when they had to see the holes in his wrists after he resurrected from the dead. And they're just like, nope, I need proof. Why do you need proof? Why? The only proof that you need is up here. A lot of people talk about, and this is what I wanted to discuss about. A lot of people mention about time. A lot of people mention about deadlines. And I have a client who says that they were doing techniques and it still doesn't work. And instead of figuring out, okay, well, what's the next step that I got to take, they're asking me to get involved now and see if I can talk to the SP. Again, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm just a manifestation coach. Okay, if you guys don't want to follow what the law teaches, okay, if you want to follow what logic teaches, then go somewhere else. If you want to follow what a red pill content creator or the women who write books like The Rules do, then follow somebody like that. Okay, but if you want, and don't listen to me, listen to all other people who really know their shit. Okay, Eric, Zachary Hickory, Joseph Alai, Athena Raven, SJ the Operant Power. Okay, I'm dropping names of people who really know their crap. Ask any of them. Some of them are not 100% on the same page, but I'll tell you one thing: they're not going to tell you that checking their social media is going to get your SP dripping for you. They're never going to tell you that if you make a mistake in the 3D, maybe you chased or maybe you got blocked, that, oh, it's the end of the world and all hope is lost. And that constantly telling yourself and fearing that something bad's going to happen is going to make life easier for you. Oh, well, if the 3D is showing you that you got blocked, then you must think that the end is here. It's over. It's toast. You're done. No. I think many manifestation coaches are too afraid to admit that you will go through tests in this process. And what does the scripture say? That few there be that find it. Now, yeah, there's scriptures that say my yoke is easy, my burden is light. But it's easy when you see it as easy. Because I've been saying this a lot lately. Everything in the world, everything in reality requires a price. You want to buy a mortgage on a house, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions. You want to buy a car, it's a lot of money. And sometimes you have to put a down payment because you can't afford it in cash. You want to become a professional NBA player. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. And sometimes a lot of funds too, to buy the equipment and to go to the tryouts, yada, yada, yada. Go to college, get a scholarship, get good grades, not get into any trouble. You want to be a champion in the UFC, you have to really put all the work. You got to diet, you got to sacrifice time with your family, you got to fucking give up In-N-Out Burger. But isn't it something that one of the most powerful attributes that we have at our disposal, which is whatever you want to call it, law of assumption, manifestation, deciding and bringing desires to you at your disposal. Isn't it something that the only price that it really requires is not for you to do a bunch of techniques, but for you to decide that you have it now, or that it's on the way, however way you want to say it. And then you just go on with your life, and whatever the 3D shows you the opposite, you simply stay in your end. That's it. It's never something that you have to do in the external. Yeah, there are things that you will do in the external, and sometimes you might feel an inspired action, but that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, all actions that you do externally will come from the internal. But what I'm saying is the only price you have to take is to stay put up here. That's it. If you have this shit taken care of, boom, you're done. You don't have to put no down payment of money. You don't have to put 50 million hours of work at the 3-point line. You don't have to give up fucking ice cream sundaes. You can eat all the ice cream you want, but as long as you're internally good, boom. As long as you can avoid checking social media and allowing it to trigger you, then you're good. Guys, do you not think that if you're going to manifest a specific person who's ignoring you right now in the 3D, that it's not going to require some sort of price? But again, we're not asking anything from you that is entirely difficult. You don't even have to leave your house to do this. A lot of people will say, well, yeah, you can get that job, but you got to first go take the drug test all the way downtown, and then you got to meet this other guy over here 20 miles away. It's like, oh, but I need to get an Uber. I don't even have a car. Remember that shit when we were still starting out, when we were teenagers, getting a job at the fucking 7-Eleven or something like that, or the fucking fast food joint? All this shit that we had to do. But for manifestation, where you can manifest loads of money, just enormous amounts of affection from people, marriages, ends of marriages, divorces, for crying out loud, resurrection from the dead. And all it takes is for you to stay put mentally while it is materializing in the 3D, and you being content. You want to know if there's any proof that you're getting your manifestation. It's not that if you're checking to see if your SP is... I was going to mention an example, but I don't want him to kill me, so never mind. It's not going to be if you're checking your SP social media status, if they're still with the third party. It's not going to be if you find out that, oh wow, he actually added me on Facebook again, and we were not friends for years on Facebook. Who gives a fuck about all that? You're not going to be giving a fuck about that when you guys are fucking each other's brains out in the marriage bed every single night. You're not going to be giving a fuck about that if she added you on Facebook when you guys are in the rocking chair just happy, thanking God for your grandchildren. No. Stop, guys. Can y'all stop? If y'all could at least avoid acting like that, it would go a long way. I mean, can you guys at least stop doing shit like that? Please? If you have to take baby steps, take baby steps. But I mean, my Lord, you're here telling me that you're in your end, and then you're over here just nonstop stalking their social media, when in the 3D, they don't want anything to do with you. You're acting as if you are part of the 3D. No, stop that shit. We are sojourners of this world. We are in the world, but we are not of the world. Okay? But if you want to know the proof that you have your SP, it's that despite what the 3D circumstances are showing you, or what their fucking Instagram is showing you, that you have this sort of sense of peace, of contentment, like, yes, I have it. And guess what? That is exactly why I keep mentioning that if you're checking their social media, you're checking the 3D, then that's proof that you're not going to get them. Why? Because if you were content, if you were at peace, you wouldn't need to be checking those things. And I'm talking about content even if they have you blocked, even if they have a third party. If you can do a technique, if you can decide, whether it's through sats, affirmations, etc., 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 and if you can decide that you have your SP, or you have the money, you have the physical appearance change, and you're content, you're at peace, boom, it's done. And no matter what happens in the 3D from your side or the other, you're good. Because if you stay content, that's all that matters. That is what Neville talks about of the feeling is the secret. If you can get to that point where you're at peace, you're in Sabbath, that's proof it's on its way. If you guys want to go more in depth in your situation, work with me. My information is below.